Here we go. Right, I'll get by my rod because it's going to go. That's absolutely mad. Yeah, another double take. Oh, we got it nutted out. Well, I said we wanted one more before we wrapped up, and I managed to get it. Well, welcome to the very new Tar Farm complex at Linear Fisheries. So yeah, completely new complex of lakes that Linear are opening up. It's definitely going to ease some pressure on the main lakes over the other side of the river and going to give anglers a completely different option when coming to Linear. You can book these lakes or you can book a peg on these lakes as well, so you know when you're coming up to Linear that you've got a swim. I've got my Polaroids on. I'm going to have a bit of a look around. It's a beautiful sunny day, so I'm sure I'm going to be able to find some carp and hopefully put a few on the bank. Let's do it. So, not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. Next to this swim, there's like a pipe that comes in. It brings water from the other lake into this one, and nice warm sunny day. Carp are like a magnet to running water on days like today. Similar to St John's, there's a pipe that comes in there and they love it. And yeah, there's carp swimming around it now, and it would be silly of me not to make the most of this opportunity, get off the mark. So I've got a solid bag in here. I'm going to drop it down there, and in theory this shouldn't take long. Here we go. Right, I'll get by my rod because it's going to go. Well, that actually took a bit longer than expected. Yeah, just thought we'd just drop it in and they'd come swimming past and drop down on it and nail it straight away, and it wasn't the case at all. I actually had to, well, that's not a bad fish. Yeah, I actually had to put a little bit of pellet down. I put a couple of handfuls of Bellichan pellet just to, you'll do, just to get their sort of interest, and that really did spark their interest. And then they fed really hard, but I felt like it took a long time to get a bite. There were some lovely fish down there. There's a big grey, fully scaled, a ghosty, but this one is also a nice linear. So really, yeah, a nice fish to get off the mark with if I can land it. Oh, you'll do. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of young fish in these lakes. They're going to be really on the munch, I think, for all of the anglers that come down to here. They're just going to grow and grow. And this one looks like it'll definitely be, I mean, a future target fish, a future. You never really know when the fish first go in. This could be the, I don't know, it's a linear, so we'll go with the Kempy's linear of the future, who knows. Oh, Harry's linear, yes. He's in. Oh, that'll do, nice to get off the mark. Lovely sunny day, solid bag, and yeah, like I said, them Bellichan pellets properly got them going. We'll have a look at him and then crack on, catch some more. This is going to be fun. So there she is, or he is, because he's melting all over me. There he is, a lovely linear mid-double, and yeah, great way to kick things off. Little bit of stalking. Had to give them some more encouragement with a bit of extra bait, but got there in the end, and yeah, hopefully this kicks off a lovely session at Tar Lakes. So whilst I'm setting up, as I always have in my solid bag bucket, I've got some pre-tied solids, and yeah, I'm just going to flick one out sort of down this margin. There's a few fish moving down this margin, as there are this margin as well, but yeah, I'm going to flick this one out to the right. I'll probably flick one out to the left as well and then get set up. I only spooked about 60 then. Okay, so I'm just getting myself sorted in the swim that I've chosen. Now, basically, we've got quite a long margin to the left-hand side of the swim. The wind is sort of gently just trickling into it. The sun's been on it all day, and there have been carp drifting up and down that margin, stopping every now and again, colouring it up. So it looks like a good spot. I know there's we've got these maps, these depth maps, and out in front of the swim it's mega deep, like nearly 40 feet deep. So that's the sort of open water, but where I've seen the fish, it's sort of on the slope, sloping down. So yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust my tactics slightly to cope with the slope because it is steep, but I think targeting this margin for now anyway is going to give me my best option at catching. So yeah, I'm just getting my rod sorted, then I clip up along this margin and get some bait in. Try and start catching. So I've just walked along the margin to where I'm going to be fishing. One of the really nice things about these sort of new tar farm lakes is that they are a fair bit smaller than the other linear lakes, so there are opportunities to do things like this, like walk along the margin, bait up a little margin area and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's sort of quite different for me when coming to Linear. I've got a really simple mix, and it's the sort of thing that maybe when I first started fishing the other lakes, I'd use, because the fish were really green sort of back then in those lakes, and they are going to be green in these lakes. And yeah, that's a pellet heavy mix, and this is the sort of thing that I think over the next few years will dominate these lakes, using pellets. So I've got live system pellets in there, my favourite Bellichan pellets in there as well, and some chopped up 10mm live system. Put some amino blend 365 in there as well, and I think it's going to get them proper grubbing about. Gives me a few different options for hook baits over the top, a few different size pellets, and that keep them guessing. I'm going to get it in there. I think they're going to want it. So just basically the other side of these reeds, they just sort of poke out a little bit, which suggests that this area here is slightly shallower. And it's just an obvious interception point. As the fish come up the margins, they're going to push out round this little point and come over my bait. Well, they've got on that pellet just like I thought they would, and yeah, it hasn't taken long. Just fishing with bright hook baits over the top, and yeah, a little mesh bag as well, just to sort of get them really homing in on that hook bait, trying to get quicker bites. You know, if you just chucked a hook bait over there, you might not get a bite quite as quick as if you had a bit of a traction around it. I did think about fishing solid bags, which I think would work on all of these lakes as they do on the other lakes at Linear, but it's a really steep shelf off of here, and I think before the bags even melted, I think you'd find it would roll down the slope, and you've cast out into 7 or 8 feet of water, and by the time the bag's melted you're in 30 feet of water. This one's giving a good account of itself. It wasn't doing a lot out in the lake, but as they often do under the rod tip, he's giving it some. No way. Yeah, that is a double take. Well, would you believe it? I said they'd got on that pellet, but I didn't quite realise it'd be like that. Go on, you just, what's he done? Right, I'm just going to concentrate on landing the fish that I've got on at the moment, because if you sort of worry about 2 fish and try and split your time between the 2 of them, you could end up losing both. So I'd rather focus on the one that I've got on. I'm not sure if that other one stayed on or not, but I'm just going to focus on this. This one's woken up on me left-hander now. There we go. Are you coming? Yes. Right, that's one in the bag. This one should still be on. And it is, oh, it's right out on top. That's crazy. I picked the rod up and it's exploded on the surface. Oh, this is this is good fun, you know. This is when I first started coming down to Linear and fishing B1 and B2 and those sorts of places. You could, yeah, spot up, put some bright hook baits over the top, and it could almost be instant action, or it was almost instant action. And that's what it's going to be like for people coming down to Tar Farm, at least in the early days anyway. And you know, it can be simple fishing. Pellets are going to be your friend, and bright hook baits are going to be your friend. Oh, he's a lovely scaly one. There you go, come on the uncaught scaly. I don't want to let the other one out actually. Almost forgot about that. Come on then. This time? No. This time. This time. Not this time. But this time. This time. There he goes. In. Double bubble. I mean, what a start. I think one thing that definitely shows, and it kind of confirms what happened when we were stalking. Initially, when we were stalking, I've just put a solid bag down onto the spot and there was fish about, fish swimming over it, and they weren't coming down, and threw a few pellets over the top and then they started feeding. I've had my solid bag out there for probably an hour and a half whilst I've been getting sort of set up, and we'd been doing bits of filming, and that's done absolutely nothing. Put some bait over on that spot, gave it 15-20 minutes, got the rods in, and it's not taken long at all. Quality. So there is one part of that double take. It's a little bit lively, but proper nice scaly one. All of these are gonna flourish in these lakes. They're so rich, gin clear, lots of weed growth, deep. Yeah, big uns of the future for sure. How's about that for a colourful character? Yeah, real mad sort of bright oranges and yellows. But yeah, another one, and once I've slit this one back, I'll just run you through the rig that I'm using over the top, keeping things really, really simple. It's only fizzing a bit out there at the moment. So the spot that I'm actually fishing is on quite a steep slope. We've got these depth maps, and I'm sure they're going to be on the website, but it gives you an opportunity to see what's out there in the lake. And on this left hand margin, it does slope off really quite steeply, and yeah, in that instance, you know, you don't want a lead with round sides that's going to roll down. So I've opted for sort of flat pair inlines. I don't really need to use a leg clip or anything at the moment. There's not a lot of weed out in front of me, so I don't need to be dropping the lead, and an inline's going to present it perfectly, and being flat, it's not going to roll down that slope. It's going to hold firm on the side of that slope. And then rig wise, I mean, it is really simple. I've got 6 inches of Camotex soft with just a small amount stripped back by the eye of the hook to give you a little bit of extra movement. And then I've got a size 4 stiff rig beat point hook. Now the reason I've got a size 4, and it might sound and look quite big for this 8mm Northern Special mini hook bait, is that I've learnt through experience of fishing lakes where the carp are quite young. The young fish have really quite soft mouths, and if you use small hooks in those situations, they can sort of tear out quite easily, and you get a lot of hook pulls. Whereas with a bigger hook, it actually sort of holds firm a lot more. You get really good hook holds with the bigger hooks, and so yeah, that's why I've gone for a big one. And then, like I said, Northern Special Mini, that sinks the size 4 hook absolutely perfectly. It sits as I'm showing you there on the bottom, so the hook is sort of cocked and ready in that claw-like fashion. And yeah, the sort of bright hook baits for me are the one when you're fishing on these type of venues over a bit of bait. A nice bright hook bait seems to draw them in. And then all I've been doing is just getting a little mesh bag of the oily bag mix, which is the same stuff that I use in my solid bags. Yeah, little mesh bag, and just hooking that on, and that really does draw the fish in to that sort of hook bait area, especially when you're fishing over an area of sort of, I guess it's spod mix, not that I'm spodding it, but when you're fishing over a baited area, using those mesh bags really does draw the fish down towards your hook bait. I think mesh bags tend to have gone out of fashion a lot of late, and yeah, they really can help you get quick bites. That's possibly on. It's on, isn't it? Yeah. It's gone well flat now. Well, I've just had probably the most bizarre bite of my life. Really up and down and all over the place. I didn't know whether it was a liner or a bite. I eventually decided it was a bite. And I've lifted the rod up, and where I'm fishing it's probably 7 or 8 feet, and the fish is right up on the surface. Yeah, bizarre. But it's taken a while. It's been a good hour and a half since that double take, and I was kind of wondering whether it was going to happen again. The lake's sort of gone flat calm, and yeah, the fish were just sort of milling about on top. But yeah, luckily it has gone again. This one is definitely one of the smaller ones. It's a common, I know that much. But yeah, I think where it's sort of now coming into the evening, we're getting a little bit of cloud cover. The temperature's definitely dropped. I've got the hoodie back on. Maybe we'll get a few more bites before it gets dark. That's absolutely mad. I turned that rod off just because this was sort of going into it a little bit. I didn't want it beeping all the time whilst we were playing this fish, and yeah, another double take. It's like they're definitely going around in like a pod when they want to eat, because yeah, like I said, hour and a half since that last bite, and now that one's absolutely tanking off. Here we go, come on. Into the net with that one. And we're in with this one. You may be wondering where the bloody hell I am. I am, well, almost where I've hooked this fish, or where the spot is. Yeah, just where I've had that double take and this rod's ripped off. It's yeah, it got caught around some of these reeds, and just from that swim, it made it pretty, well, I wouldn't have landed the fish from that swim after it had gone round them reeds. So I've just walked down the bank, which you can do, which was nice and safe. And it allowed me to flick it off the reed, and it was only just round like one little reed stem. Flicked it off of the reed stem, got him in the net. Another double bubble, sort of, like over there and round here. Well, this little bad boy looks like he's had a bit of a run-in with a cormorant. Bit of a stab wound to the head. I mean, it's not fresh, but I'm just putting a little bit of propolis on it just to, yeah, help seal it up. Make sure there's no infection's going to get in there. And he should be good to go. Well, we're not going to keep him out too long. Going to get him back. He's only a little one, but treated him up. Grown to be a beast of a common. Right, other one. Brad behind the camera is laughing his head off at this, but I think it's probably the coolest little fish I've ever seen. How cool is that? Proper high shoulders on him, linear, big like circular scales down by his tail. Absolutely awesome. Did make me put in a lot of effort to land him. But yeah, proper cool one. I've got a bite. Yeah, cheers mate, bye. Is it? Yeah. Come on. Here he comes. Oh, almost hit the post. He's in. And there is another absolute belter. But yeah, this one's going to be my last for today. I think I've decided that I'm going to wind in, I'm going to give them some bait, and then yeah, cook my dinner, get my head down, have a good night's sleep, because I want to get on it tomorrow, trawl through a few more of these, try and catch a bigger one, and yeah, after a good night's sleep I will be well on it. He is quality. So it never actually happened this morning. I really did think that they'd get on that bait and sort of stay on it. I put a bit extra in last night and I put a little bit more in this morning, and yeah, they're just not here. I haven't seen anything around here, haven't heard anything, and yeah, it just seems like they've completely done the off. Like I said, I thought I'd hold them with the bait, but you know, they're wild animals at the moment and they'll sit wherever they are most comfortable. And in the last sort of half hour, I've seen loads off the back of the wind in the sort of top bay of the lake, just seen them showing. So that's where I'm going to go now. It stands to reason that they're going to be over there. This wind is cold and has picked up. Over here it is lovely and warm yesterday, and it's not anymore. The warmest part is 1,000,000% going to be over there. I couldn't hold them with bait. They've gone over there, and that's where I'm going to go now. Only got to nut it out. So the move has paid off and we're in. I've actually got a rod over to the far margin, but then this one was in the near margin. Just baited a spot just under a little bush, and they were coming in and visiting it. Put the hook bait down, exactly the same as what I've been using over on the other lake. Not on the other lake, on this lake, just in the other swim. And yeah, a few liners, and it didn't take too long at all. And we're into another Lake 7 carp. Here he comes, and he's in. Yeah, worth the move for sure. So there he is, my first one after the move. Crazy little stripe down this one, certainly going to be a recognisable one for the future. But yeah, it's coming towards the end of the session. Hopefully there's time for one more. There are plenty of fish down here still, so yeah, in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm sure there's a chance for another one. They've made me work this morning, but happy with the result. Well, the wind has picked up even more now, and I think there's just becoming more and more fish into this bay off the back of the wind. And yeah, my right hand rod's gone. Interestingly, I was casting it over to the far side, which I've been round and put some Belacham pellets in, and I'd originally cast a single over there, just one of those single northern minis, and it hadn't gone, and I'd seen a fish show over it, and I was feeling like I should have had a bite, so I've literally just wound it in, hooked on one of those little mesh bags as it tries to do me down the margins. Yeah, hooked on one of those little mesh bags, and it went like pretty quickly. I think it just shows the importance sometimes of just having that extra bit of attraction around the hook baits. I think I'm guilty of it as much as anyone else, of not putting, oh, he's a lovely one. Yeah, just putting singles out where sometimes, especially on venues where you should be getting lots of bites, putting a little bit of extra attraction around the hook bait definitely speeds them up, and this is proof. I did it the same on that margin rod as well. And then you lovely scaly one. Yeah. Oh, what a fish that is. Well, I said we wanted one more before we wrapped up, and I managed to get it. So yeah, that is my last fish of the session, number 10. So yeah, I've had an awesome time here on the Tar Farm complex. It's definitely going to breathe a new lease of life into Linear Fisheries, and when you've got awesome scaly fish like this, you can see that the future is very bright indeed. Look at that, at £40 that's going to be better than the big plated. I've said it.